Well, hello, my friends. I'm outside a rest stop here on the New Jersey Turnpike up in Woodbridge, New Jersey. And I figure it's now time to bring you Crazy Tom's NFL rankings after 5 rounds of the NFL season. Yes, they say it's go by week to week. Yeah, week 5, week 6, what have you. But as I said to you last week, I call it rounds for this reason. The NFL is a 17-round boxing match. Yes, every team gets a round off. As a matter of fact, the teams with the rounds off this week, the Lions and the Saints, they get the byes as everyone else plays. So as I kind of want to shut this car off for the moment here, I can give you my top 32 teams ranked from 32 to number 1. One note for you next week, and I kind of saw this as I was looking ahead at the schedule. Next week's Sunday Night Football game for round 7 is supposed to be the Rams and 49ers, but it's not, because Jimmy Garoppolo is done for the season, pretty much so are the 49ers. So NBC and the NFL flexed in. I thought it was going to be one of 2 games. I took a shot and went with the Patriots and the Bears. It is not the Patriots and the Bears. It is actually my other choice, the Bengals and the Chiefs. That is the Sunday night matchup for week 7, not the Rams and 49ers on NBC. So Bengals and Chiefs is your week 7 Sunday night matchup. I just want to give you that heads up. The Rams 49ers were flexed to the 4 o'clock hour, and interestingly enough, that game and the Cowboys Redskins game are both on CBS. Go figure, we're going back into the 80s and early 90s with that one. But we'll get to those things when we get there next week. So I just wanted to give you the programming note. Bengals Chiefs from Arrowhead, the Sunday night game for week number 7, which is October the 21st. So I just figured I'd throw that out to you. Now to my rankings after 5 weeks of the NFL. Number 32, no surprise, the San Francisco 49ers. If you can't beat the Arizona Cardinals and you lose that badly, you deserve to be last. 49ers play on Monday night at Green Bay next week. Number 31, not too far behind, the New York Giants. Name me another team that can lose on a 60-yard plus field goal back-to-back years. Basically, somebody can kick a field goal and it'll go around the world at circumference like 4 times, and it'll go through the uprights, and the Giants will be on the wrong end of that one. For the Giants, it'll just hit the upright. But at least they got rid of Eric Flowers. They have a big game on Thursday night, the Crucial Catch Thursday night game at the Meadowlands MetLife Stadium against the defending champion Eagles, which we'll talk about a little later. Number 30, the Oakland Raiders. They're just a mess, and that's all I can really say about that. They go to bloody London for a game at Wembley Stadium against the Seahawks. The Seahawks, I think, are the road team. The Raiders are the home team in that game, but it's a neutral site game from Wembley Stadium. Should be interesting. Number 29, the Arizona Cardinals. They finally get off the schneid and get their new head coach their first win. Congratulations to him. So they're out of the basement, but they have to go to Minnesota for next week, and I think the Vikings might be on a little bit of a roll after what they did on Sunday. I'll let you know in a little bit. Number 28, the Indianapolis Colts. Just bad luck, and I mean bad luck. Andrew Luck has been really, really good, but his offensive line's been bad, and the defense hasn't really been so hot. They might be able to catch the New York Jets at MetLife on a letdown week, so we'll see what happens with that. Number 27, the banged-up Atlanta Falcons, embarrassed by the Steelers last week. Hopefully they'll get a chance to do well against Tampa Bay, who's coming off a bye. I'll get to them momentarily. Number 26, the Dallas Cowboys. Enough said. The entire state of Texas wants Jason Garrett locked up in a cell and fired from his head coaching job, and Jerry Jones taken to a fruitcake sanitarium because they're all full of nuts. Considering the defense played well, no, they did not. 150-yard catch to DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm sorry, that completely undoes all the work that they did to play well. I'm sorry, it does not work. And for the Cowboys, that's a devastating loss because they're home to Jacksonville on Sunday, and you know Jacksonville's going to be a bit pissed off after last week. Number 25, the Denver Broncos. You kind of knew they were going to be on a slide, and boy, did they slide quickly. They've lost 3 in a row. I had a feeling they were in a bad spot against the Jets, and they were. But they come back home to play the unbeaten Los Angeles Rams. Could be a little bit of a trap game for the Rams, but we will see. Number 24, the Houston Texans. They move up a couple of spots. Of course, that win, that great play from their quarterback, going to a Hopkins. That saved them and a little bit of their season too. And Bill O'Brien's not the dumbest head coach anymore. Jason Garrett is. We'll see if the Texans can hold strong as they host the Buffalo Bills next week. Number 23, the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, they played a very valiant game against the Rams, but the Rams had just a little bit too much, and the Seahawks just aren't what they once were. Russell Wilson is the offense, and who knows what the other pieces are. So the Seahawks, like I said, they're the visiting team when they play in Wembley Stadium against the Oakland Raiders next week. Number 22, the Buffalo Bills. Called it. I called the upset against Tennessee coming off the win over the defending champion Eagles. I thought this was a letdown game, and it was, as the Bills won late. Unfortunately for them, they have to travel to Houston for next week, and the Texans are on a little bit of a roll. Number 21, the New York Jets. I knew they were going to come out of their doldrums eventually, and they definitely did with that team win over Denver. Now they host the Indianapolis Colts, but the Colts have had 3 extra days off from their last game at New England. This could be a letdown game, and the Colts, I think, need this win. Number 20, the Detroit Lions. Impressive win over the Green Bay Packers. I'm sure shades of that scripted Hail Mary from a couple years ago are out the window. For the Lions, they have a bye this week, so we're going to keep them at number 20 next week as well. Number 19, the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending champions, in shambles right now. Their defense isn't what it once were. Jay Ajayi fumbles the ball in the third quarter, tears up his knee in the process. He's done for the year. Who do they go after? Do they go after a guy from the Cardinals and David Johnson, or Le'Veon Bell, or do they bring back LaShawn McCoy? They need a back. They're out Ajayi, they're out Sproles. They've got a lot of questions, and they better figure it out fast for their Thursday night road game at the Giants. Before the season started, I thought that would be a loss for the Eagles. Now, the Eagles really, really need this game. The Vikings last week needed more than the Eagles. The Eagles are in a bad division, so for the Eagles, this is a must-win for them. Number 18, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who had off last week. They'll be playing in Atlanta. The Falcons are reeling. We'll see if Jameis Winston gets the Buccaneers back on track. Number 17, the Washington Redskins. They were in a horrible spot on Monday night. Drew Brees sets all types of records, the NFL passing record, and the Redskins didn't even show up at 43-19. They'll try and right the ship. They play the Carolina Panthers at home on Sunday. Number 16, the Green Bay Packers. Yes, they fell to Detroit. Aaron Rodgers played all right, but Detroit was a bit better. You have to wonder about Aaron Rodgers' health. It's been very shaky the first part of the year. They at least host Monday night against probably the worst team in football now, the San Francisco 49ers. So it gives the Packers a chance to right the ship. Number 15, who would have believed it? The Cleveland Browns. They have played 5 games, and I cannot believe this. They played 5 games. They've had 3 overtime games. They've had 1 end in a tie. 1 they lose in the final minute. And this one, they beat the Ravens on a field goal like a minute and a half left in overtime. And the Ravens were in a trap situation, so Cleveland took advantage of that. They're 500 through 5 games of the year. Go figure that one out. But they host the Carson City Chargers on Sunday, and the Chargers are a pretty darn good team. Number 14, the Minnesota Vikings, whom I said absolutely had to have that game against the Eagles, and they did. Now they host the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals were on a high, but now back-to-back road games for them. Minnesota might get on a roll here. Number 13, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, they obliterate Atlanta 41-17. Now we'll see how far they've come. They travel to Cincinnati. That might be the unheralded game of the week, and we'll see how good the Bengals really are. But for the Steelers, can they do it without Le'Veon Bell? We'll see. Number 12, the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, trap game against the Cleveland Browns. And they kind of slid in overtime 12-9. So now they get to travel on their 3rd road game in a row, and that's at Tennessee. They were at Pittsburgh, they were at Cleveland, now they're at Tennessee for the 3rd straight road game. We'll see how Baltimore fathoms against a Tennessee team whom, for whatever reason, dropped the ball. But then again, Tennessee was kind of like in the same situation Baltimore was in. So we'll see what happens there. Number 11, the Miami Dolphins. They host the Chicago Bears, and I guarantee you they'll be forcing the Bears to wear their dark navy blue. So we'll see how the Dolphins bounce back after losing their last 2 in a row on the road against 2 very good teams in the Bengals and the Patriots. We'll see if home cooking does them good. The Bears coming off a bye. That should be a real good game. Number 10, the Tennessee Titans. And, of course, the Titans, they were in the top 5, and then, of course, losing to Buffalo, they kind of trebled a bit. That's what happens. You defeat the defending Super Bowl champions, and you knew you're going to have a letdown the next week. We'll see how Tennessee does at home against Baltimore for Sunday. Number 9, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Very surprised they didn't do it against Kansas City, but you know, Kansas City might be the team to beat this year. I mean, they lose 30-14, but now a mad Jacksonville team will be coming into Dallas, and it's going to be a very interesting game. The last time they were there, I mean, they absolutely destroyed the Cowboys at the end of Bum Jr.'s term in Dallas, and that might end Jason Garrett as well. Number 8, yep, the Carson City Chargers, an impressive win over the Oakland Raiders, and now they get to travel to play the Cleveland Browns. This could be a tough game for them, but the Chargers are a little bit of a better team than you think, but they're definitely not a division-winning team. Number 7, the New England Patriots. Yes, you can't count them out. They were 1-2, but home cooking does it every single time. It'll be their 3rd straight home game. They wiped out Miami. They took care of the Colts on Thursday night. A couple of days rest and extra days rest, and now they have the unbeaten Kansas City Chiefs coming to Foxborough. Should be a great game. Number 6, the Carolina Panthers. Graham Gano's field goal had caused like 2-hour arrival delays at Charlotte-Mecklenburg Airport thanks to an incredible win over the Giants. Now, Carolina, coming off that high, they traveled to Washington, and Washington, of course, didn't play well, so that's going to be a very interesting game next week. Number 5, the Chicago Bears, who were off last week. Now they travel to Miami to play the Dolphins, who've lost 2 straight, and I think that'll be a real interesting game, like I said. Can Trubisky keep it going against the Dolphins? Remember, they're going to be wearing their dark blues because you know it's going to be sunny in Miami. Number 4, the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are for real, my friends. They host Pittsburgh on Sunday, and you have to remember something about Cincinnati. They were down 17-0 against Miami and scored the last 27 points of the game. Cincinnati knows very well what to do with offense. They can keep it going, and if they can hold Pittsburgh at bay, they could be the team to beat in the AFC North. We'll see. Number 3, the New Orleans Saints. All I have to say is congratulations, Drew Brees, on becoming the NFL passing leader. He, of course, with that 43-19 win over the Redskins. I mean, what else can you say about that? A deserved week off, so the Saints will stay at number 3 next week. And numbers 2 and 1, of course, are the unbeatens. Number 2 to the Los Angeles Rams. I think they had a less than stellar performance against Seattle, although they have scored 30 points or more now 5 consecutive games. Rams are able to hold them off. Now they travel to Denver. We'll see if they can make it 6 for 6. And as for the Chiefs, they are number 1. Of course, Patrick Mahomes, what can you say? He had a rushing touchdown, but that was some performance against Jacksonville. I thought that was going to be a trap game for him off a short week, and they dominated Jacksonville. So the Chiefs go to 5-0, and they are the number 1 team. They're at New England for Sunday Night Football, and don't forget, they're on Sunday Night Football 2 straight weeks, at New England on Sunday, then the following Sunday, home against Cincinnati in a flexed Sunday night game to replace the Rams and 49ers. So that's where you have it right now. I'll read you from 32 to number 1 again. Here they are in that order. Starting from the bottom. 49ers, Giants, Raiders, Cardinals, Colts, Falcons, Cowboys, Broncos, Texans, Seahawks, Bills, Jets, Lions, Eagles, Buccaneers, and Redskins. Redskins are 17. Then from 16 to 1, Packers, Browns, Vikings, Steelers, Ravens, Dolphins, Titans, Jaguars, Chargers, Patriots, Panthers, Bears, and finally, Bengals, Saints, Rams, and the Chiefs are number 1. And keep your third finger in your pocket unless you're a Denver or Oakland fan, but that's how it is. That's Crazy Tom's rankings for round 5 of the NFL season. Make sure you come back next week to see how your team does as far as round 6 is concerned. Hey, you already know the Saints will stay at 3 and the Lions at 20 because they're off this week, but well, having with everyone else. We'll see. Come back next week with another edition of Crazy Tom's NFL Rankings. Hope you guys enjoy your week and enjoy your football safely.